First at 5, a deadly shooting in northeast Bexar County may have been a targeted killing. Sheriff's investigators say it looks like the victim was tracked to the location where he was shot. He was inside a car at the time and crashed in a neighborhood not far from FM 78 and Walsham Road. Katrina Weber shows us why one home in particular is at the center of this investigation.
From end to end, Steep Valley is a crime scene after what happened in the middle of the street in the middle of the night. Bexar County Sheriff's deputies got a call for a car crash, but found out the driver was the victim of something more.
Additional first responders arrived to the scene and pronounced that male deceased from an apparent gunshot wound to the upper torso.
Detectives believe he was shot a few doors down from where he crashed in the neighborhood near Walsham and FM 78. They say the car he was in was stolen.
I heard gunshots like around 8 or 9, and then from like a far distance, I heard like a crash.
That neighbor who wanted to hide her identity woke up to the noise. Others stumbled upon the scene later.
I mean, there's a lot of cops down here in the area, and there's a helicopter, so we really didn't know what was going on.
Detectives were able to draw a few conclusions based on evidence they found. Investigators believe at least some of those shots came from inside this house, possibly right where you see that broken window. And they say they found a gun here out front. They suspect the driver and someone in that home had been feuding, and that his enemies tracked him to that location.
They had some sort of monitoring through either social media or some sort of Apple app. At
least 5 people, some underage, were taken away in handcuffs, not as suspects, but possible sources of information about what happened.
This is dangerous, you know. Someone can get hurt and someone can get killed, obviously, right?
Those left behind in the neighborhood hope they'll stay safe. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
A 29-year-old man is now charged with murder, accused of shooting and killing his own cousin. The suspect's name is Alejandro Cruz. According to an arrest affidavit, officers found 35-year-old Anthony Sanchez with a gunshot wound to his arm and head at a Westside home on Saturday. He later died at a hospital. The affidavit says that Sanchez's wife heard her husband call someone cuz, and she heard him say something that sounded like, "No, don't do it, cuz." SAPD says that witnesses then told investigators that they saw Cruz shoot Sanchez twice. Cruz was arrested yesterday. A man is charged with intoxication manslaughter after a deadly crash involving multiple cars on the north side. This crash happened overnight on Highway 281 near Thousand Oaks Drive. Police say a man in his 30s died after his pickup was hit and pinned by a larger truck that was driving too fast. Officers detained the other driver for a possible DWI. 4 cars were involved in this wreck, but no one else was hurt. It might not exactly be a year-round rodeo, but it is definitely a plan that would bring a lot more cowboy hats to the city's east side. A roughly $240 million proposal to improve the Frost Bank Center and the Freeman Coliseum and overhaul the surrounding grounds. And that will be on your ballot this November. Garrett Berger joins us live from the Freeman Coliseum this afternoon. And Garrett, you spoke with the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. This is all connected to Project Marvel. So how did they say that the plans for using the area where you are would shake out if the Spurs leave for downtown?
Well, Myra, Bexar County voters will be asked about using the county's venue tax on hotel stays and car rentals on 2 separate but related projects. The one getting most of the attention is Prop B, which would help pay for a new downtown Spurs arena. But it's Prop A that would spruce up the county-owned facilities over here in this Eastside area that the team would be leaving behind. Let's give you a look at them through the eyes of our KSAT drone. Now, the Coliseum grounds, where the rodeo currently happens each year, is the main focus. The biggest changes happening out in these expo areas, new and renovated buildings, like the main expo hall, which would become a permanent arena. Or just past it, the old barns where the stock shows happen, torn down for a new flex building. And there'd be more fake turf and less asphalt around the area. The goal is to bring in more Western-style events year-round, as well as bigger conventions and trade shows. The rodeo's executive director says his sales pitch to voters is this will be funded by taxing visitors and that the rodeo is stepping up.
We're saying this is our home. We're going to stay here. We're not leaving looking for another place because it's kind of in turmoil. That we actually are stepping up and saying, you know what we'll do? This has always been our home. We'll fill the gap. And we'll make sure these buildings stay fresh, and we'll make sure they stay full, and we'll make sure the Eastside's not left behind, and we'll make sure the county's not left with a bunch of dilapidated buildings down here that
The Frost Bank Center would also be getting some improvements, and the Freeman would be getting a new roof. All of this work paid through the county venue tax. Now, coming up at 6, we'll have more from the rodeo's director about their plans for this area. And you can hear directly from them tonight at 6:30. The San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo hosting a town hall meeting where you'll be able to ask questions. That's going to be happening here 6:30 at the Expo Hall. We've got the information on our website. Just find the story on KSAT.com. Live at the Coliseum grounds, I'm Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
All right, Garrett, thank you. Tonight, parents are planning a rally outside of one local school board meeting. It's been 1 month since Edgewood ISD police arrested a woman for going over her time allotted during public comment at another meeting. The Bexar County District Attorney did not pursue any charges, but the woman arrested says that she is still not allowed on Edgewood ISD property. That's why she's holding a rally this evening across the street from tonight's board meeting. Other parents are expected to join her in the next 30 minutes. We spoke to the district superintendent, who says he plans to address parental concerns in a petition created at that 6 o'clock meeting. We'll let you know what happens. All right, let's get a first check of the forecast with Adam Caskey. We were watching some showers this time yesterday. Any luck today?
Not really, not a little bit, a smidge. A few communities southeast of San Antonio along the coastal plain, closer to the Gulf Coast, did see a little bit of activity. This was just north of Victoria, just outside of Cuero. We had this one downpour, no lightning associated with it, and now it has since fizzled out and dissipated. Still the off chance southeast of town, along the coastal plain, where we could have a few pop up. McMullen County getting just a little bit of action. That's about it. Farther south and locally, nothing in terms of rainfall. Yesterday, China Grove was fortunate to get about a half an inch of rain, but that was the exception, and today's pretty much dry. And we're going to be basically the same the rest of this work week. Dry conditions, yeah, 1 or 2 showers closer to the coast. That's about it. The weekend, it will entail a subtle shift in our weather pattern, which will then introduce the chance of a few showers. One feature in particular we have to watch closely. Not significant rain chances, but at least a glimmer of hope for some rain. We'll talk about that and what's likely to turn into our next tropical storm in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Adam. New at 5, a second person found dead in Salado Creek after Labor Day weekend flooding has now been identified. He was 52-year-old Robert Gaitan. His death ruled an accidental drowning. The other person who died in that flooding has been identified as 43-year-old Nicole Keller. According to San Antonio police, Gaitan and Keller's bodies were found after they were reported missing by friends. They say it appeared the pair was experiencing homelessness. San Antonio Police Chief William McManus says there was no suspicion of foul play and said the victims were washed up in the creek as a result of flooding in the area the night before. A patient is accused of choking and bruising a nurse, but there's no proof that Northeast Baptist Hospital ever reported the assault to OSHA. San Antonio police say that James Roy was hospitalized last year after a patient slammed his head against glass. The patient, identified in court records as John Demetrius Hudson, is also accused of putting Roy in a headlock. Roy says doctors diagnosed him with a traumatic brain injury.
I wasn't coherent most of the time. People would say one thing and it would come in one ear and out the other. I would speak gibberish at times.
Roy says that he asked to press charges against that patient. For over a year, though, he says he did not hear anything about that. Tonight on the Night Beat, why the district attorney's office says that it took so long. That story at 10 o'clock. Fraud scams targeting the elderly are on the rise. That was part of the message today to the city's Public Safety Committee as they got a briefing on local domestic violence and elder abuse. According to Metro Health, the number of domestic violence calls and reports have stayed relatively consistent in the city. When it comes to elder abuse, San Antonio police say that money and property crimes remain high, but scams are increasing. Metro Health, SAPD, and the city's Department of Human Services stressed the importance of them working together to connect people with resources and prevention. The San Antonio Fire Department, USAA, and a San Antonio Spur, Stephon Castle, teaming up to help prevent fires inside your home. So they say it can start with something as simple as food on the stove. That's the most common way for a fire to start. You might think it may never happen to you, but officials say otherwise. It can happen instantly. So how do you prepare? A simple way, simple measures will go a long way in preventing a future fire. Here's what they had to say today.
If you have that grease fire, you're going to take the blanket out of the holder. You're going to spread it out in front of yourself. You're going to place it between you and the fire, making sure to cover your face. You'll spread it out as much as it'll open up. You'll walk slowly towards the fire.
Officials say that also putting a lid on a burning pan can put out a flame instantly, but don't use water. That's a bad idea because it can spread the flames if you have a fire on your stove. For more information on fire awareness, visit KSAT.com. Still ahead here on the news at 5, the suspect accused of killing Charlie Kirk made his first court appearance just about an hour ago. Plus, Governor Greg Abbott calling for immediate action against a man who allegedly mocked the death of Kirk at Texas State University. Let's get a quick check of traffic before we head to break here. This is I-35 at Loop 410. The northbound lanes very slow going. Different picture in the southbound lanes, but no major issue out there to make you aware of. Coming up today on the news at 6, they are savvy, motivated by money, and targeting schools and businesses everywhere. The FBI shows us how ransomware attackers operate. That story today at 6.
I am filing a notice of intent to seek the death penalty.
Prosecutors saying today they will seek the death penalty for the suspect accused of assassinating political activist Charlie Kirk as he was speaking at Utah Valley University last week. Within just the last hour, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson appeared briefly before a judge by video from jail. Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray confirmed Robinson is facing 7 counts, including aggravated murder. We also learned some new information today about what Robinson's family told investigators.
As they discussed the situation, Robinson implied that he was the shooter and stated that he couldn't go to jail and just wanted to end it. When asked why he did it, Robinson explained there is too much evil and the guy, referring to Charlie Kirk, spreads too much hate.
No one else has been charged in the shooting, but investigators are still interviewing friends and family of the suspect to find out how and why this happened. New at 5, Governor Greg Abbott, meanwhile, is calling for the immediate expulsion of a man believed to be a Texas State student after video circulating online shows that person mocking the death of Charlie Kirk on campus. On X, the governor shared a video showing the man mocking Kirk's death. He wrote, quote, "The conduct is not accepted at our schools." He also warned that mocking assassinations must have consequences. The university's president also released a statement saying in part, quote, "Behavior that trivializes or promotes violence is reprehensible and violates the values of Texas State and will not be tolerated," end quote. Looking ahead to tomorrow, the Federal Reserve is expected to announce its first interest rate cut since December. That announcement will come at the end of the Fed's 2-day policy meeting, which started today. Growing signs of a weaker labor market are a key reason the Fed is expected to lower borrowing costs. This move comes with the hopes that President Trump's expansive tariffs might have only a limited impact on inflation. Let's take a look outside with live cam. Those steady temperatures holding strong this week, Adam, but you were talking about that little shift for the weekend.
Yeah, and that's what we're looking ahead to is a subtle shift in the weather pattern that gives us at least a glimmer of hope for a few showers. I don't get too excited, but there's at least the possibility. So let's get right to it first of all with the rain chances. We're dry, looks like the rest of this work week, and then we'll throw in a 20% chance Saturday, Sunday. Earlier this morning, Justin boosted it to 30% chance on Monday, and I'm sticking with that with a lot of uncertainty regarding Monday. So let's dive right into it. First of all, there is some active weather out there. It's on the East Coast. Upper level counterclockwise swirl, that upper disturbance, and then also basically parked over some of the Intermountain West and Montana, Wyoming area. We have the upper level high still influencing our weather, but it's not a completely dominant feature as we get into the weekend because it drifts a little to the west. That's going to open the door for this northwesterly steering flow aloft. So the steering winds that would say push thunderstorms would be coming in from West Texas. That opens the door for little ripples of disturbances in the upper level flow to help make maybe a few brief showers and storms. But also the West Texas wild card is what we need to watch. Whenever we get into this kind of pattern and flow, West Texas can have little thunderstorms develop that then very quickly come together and organize, move our way because of the steering flow. And then we could get the remnants and the leftovers. So just one of those wild cards that we watch. Okay, so don't get too excited because this cutoff upper level low by next Tuesday, it's just a one-off right now with this computer model. If this were to actually verify, which it probably won't, but if it actually did verify, then we'd be in for some good rain around this time next week. But the reason I say it probably won't verify is these upper level cutoff lows. There's cutoff from the main steering flow. They are notoriously unpredictable beyond 2 to 3 days out. But this is that other wild card that we're watching as we get into next week. So the steering flow will change, and then we'll just keep our eyes out for that cutoff upper level low. Well, I'll keep you updated, and Justin will have the latest model runs in the morning as well. So here's what's likely to become Gabrielle. Right now, just a 90% chance of development. Now, should this, the likelihood is there, develop into the next tropical cyclone, it'd be Gabrielle, and move off to the northwest, somewhere near Bermuda within the next 5 to 7 days. 91 our high so far today. The average is 90, so we're pretty close. Here's the key. Dew point, 57. How about that? 91 temperature, dew point of 57. Many areas seeing the dewies down in the mid-50s. It's that time of day. Drier air above us mixes down, and we feel that less humid air. It's a nice little break, but the humidity is going to jump up again after sunset. 93 in Del Rio, Schertz 95, Kerrville 90 along with Bulverde. Lavernia checking in at 95, and Seguin right now at 94. 87 at 7 o'clock. By 9 o'clock, we're down to 82. So cooling pretty quickly and efficiently this evening. And then tomorrow morning, we'll start the day just like the past several days. 72 degrees at sunrise, 86 at noon, 93 tomorrow afternoon. A lot of sunshine, just some of the fair weather, patchy clouds in the afternoon. 91 Tarpley tomorrow, south side near Stinson, 94. Seguin topping out at 95. And again, we're watching for that slight chance of rain this weekend and into next week. And sometimes it's the kind of rain and storms that really only give you about 12 to 24 hours notice. So check back for updates.
All right. Thanks, Adam. Okay, Larry, you were telling us about this possibility days ago, and now the Cowboys have a new but familiar face.
Yes, so Jadeveon Clowney, the Dallas Cowboys signed him. They need some help rushing the quarterback now that Micah Parsons is in Green Bay, and it sounds like Clowney has been wanting to play for the Cowboys for a very long time. And the Houston Texans, oh man, if you're a fan of theirs, they suffered a tough loss last night. Coming up.
How much you feel like you got left in the tank?
A lot.
A lot. Like I said, we're going to see. But I'm excited to play. Been at home on that couch, man. You be ready to get up off of it.
Get off that couch. Jadeveon Clowney is now a member of the Dallas Cowboys in big board sports. Looking to get more pressure on the quarterback. The Dallas Cowboys signed defensive end Jadeveon Clowney to a one-year deal. Clowney is off the couch and he is ready to play. He told reporters that he's in game shape and ready to play the Bears in Week 3, though that remains to be seen if it will happen. Picked number 1 overall in 2014 by the Houston Texans, Clowney has 58 career sacks and he is ready to play for the Dallas Cowboys.
It's awesome. I've been looking forward to it after coming out here to visit last week. Told my agent, let's try to make something happen, get me back out there, and that's what he did. And just looking forward to the opportunity to play for Dallas Cowboys.
Kennard was saying that this was your top priority from day one.
Yeah, I told
why?
him. There's a few reasons. I like the secondary. When they got Kenny Clark for the inside. And I said, I think I can help that team. I just needed some edge rushers, and I felt like I can go out here and help this defense. And that's why I told him to call down there and see if we can make something happen.
Clowney will start practicing with the boys tomorrow. The Houston Texans lost a tough game on Monday Night Football last night. Nick Chubb ripped off this 25-yard touchdown run to give the Texans a 19-14 lead with 2:10 left in the fourth quarter. But the Buccaneers would score the game-winning touchdown with 6 seconds to go, and the Bucs beat the Texans by 1, 20-19. The Texans had their opportunities, but they didn't cash in.
We didn't make the plays we needed to make, and that's the summation of this game. All right, NFL is it's going to come down to a 2-minute drive in the fourth quarter. Are you making plays or not? Like our guys, a lot of guys gave us a chance, right, to win that game. Special teams played outstanding, all right, blocking the kick, getting an explosive return, forcing a missed field goal. So guys showed up and made plays to give us an opportunity. Now, how do you capitalize on that? We had multiple opportunities to win that game, and we didn't make the plays we needed to make.
So the 0-2 Texans will next play at the 1-1 Jaguars this Sunday at noon.
All right, Larry, thank you. We're back right after this.
Coming up tomorrow on GMSA, the big give is this week. And thanks to you, organizations like the Good Samaritan are able to help families afford childcare. We're going to tell you one of their stories.
Well, now is your chance to nominate your favorite educator for KSAT's Educator of the Month Award. To enter your favorite teacher or school staffer, just scan the QR code you see here on your screen, or you can go to our website, ksat.com, and search Educator of the Month. It's a wonderful opportunity to shine a spotlight on the people who do so much for our students and our community. Adam.
You know, I'm going to say it properly. Educator of the Month. The guy that, used to have
our old
voice guy. Yeah. I love that. He retired, by the way. If anybody's wondering where he went, he retired. 90% chance of some development in the Eastern Pacific off the coast of Mexico, but there are no indications, even if there's development there, it would impact us. Pretty quiet. Slight rain chances this weekend.